When I stepped out of the plane into Ugandan soil, I had a huge smile on my face. I was absolutely scared out of my mind, but so excited about how blessed I was to receive this opportunity. I volunteered for the Foundation for International Medical Relief of Children, aka FIMRIC, in a village called Bumwulakani, which is 8 hours outside the main city of Kampala. I lived in a volunteer house which had electricity on some days, an outdoor concrete slab I used for bucket showers, and a latrine. I lived with 3 other volunteers and the clinic manager, and we walked about 20 minutes to get to the clinic every day. We got stares every time, and the children would get so excited and yell, "Mzungu, how are you?" Mzungu is a word that means foreigner. I got to learn a lot about HIV and AIDS since most individuals who went to the clinic had the virus. There are a lot of social stigmas against those with HIV in the United States and Africa, and FIMRIC works to reduce these stigmas and help those with HIV learn how to live a normal life with the virus and how to prevent it from spreading. FIMRIC has an Orphan and Vulnerable Children (OVC) program for children that have lost one or both parents to AIDS and have HIV themselves. We went out into the community to assess how the OVCs were doing socially, physically, mentally, and emotionally. One of the boys, Edie, told me he had no food to eat and was left abandoned by both parents. Without food, he could not take his medication for his HIV. Despite his lack of food, tattered clothing, and mud house, he still had the biggest smile on his face. The children and people of Uganda were all deeply happy with so little. It made me think about how unhappy we are sometimes in the States with many material possessions. We specifically targeted schools with high amounts of OVCs and made lessons about reducing these stigmas so kids with HIV would not be rejected by their peers. My favorite school was one created by Richard. He got volunteers in the community to help create a school specifically for OVCs. He was one of the most inspiring people because he has a deep passion for each of his students and has provided an education for them, as well as homes for many of these orphans. These kids would sing us welcome songs and give us handwritten notes saying how much they loved us and wanted to be our friends. We visited clinics in the area, public hospitals, and sat in on 4 hydrocephalus surgeries. The public hospitals were very eye-opening. There were about 4 people to each bed, hardly any sanitation, and basically no isolation procedures, so patients were spreading their diseases to each other. Going to medical school is a privilege that few people get to experience. There is a high shortage of doctors in Uganda, so many nurses perform procedures they are not qualified to perform. We also helped lead after-school programs where we taught health education and talked about how to set goals. On weekends, we went on adventures to the market where we bartered for goods, went whitewater rafting in the Nile River, and went on a safari. We also learned how to make coffee, balance things on our heads, and we hiked up a waterfall. I met 2 amazing men on my whitewater rafting trip, Andrew and Ben. Ben was 18, and he told me about how he gave up going to school to work and take care of his family after his dad passed away from AIDS. He told me the reason the children wanted to hold our hands and were so excited to see us is because they thought that they could become a Mzungu if they could just touch us. This gave me a very bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. I never thought about how much of a privilege it was for me to be born in the United States. Why did I receive all of these amazing opportunities, but Ben and these children didn't? Andrew worked as a rafting guide and told me that him and a few friends just started a nonprofit organization because he saw many orphans on the streets and decided to take 6 of them into his house. He was providing them with food and education and covered all medical expenses. Andrew is about 23 and just lost his mother to tuberculosis. He now takes care of his brothers and sisters as well and has taken in more orphans since I left. He saw a cause in the community and immediately did something about it. I came to Uganda thinking I could make some type of difference, but it was those in Uganda that made the real difference in me. Every person I met in Uganda welcomed me with open arms and were willing to give me almost everything they had, even though they did not know me. It is crazy for us as Americans to believe that we can go in and change a society into becoming exactly like ours. The best thing for us to do is to be open to learning from other countries to make a difference one individual at a time. I have learned from this trip that I need to be more willing to learn from others, admit that I am wrong, and give until I have nothing left. I plan on working with FIMRIC again in the future once I become a physician's assistant so I can give back to Uganda what it gave to me. I will forever have a special place in my heart for the Ugandan people, and I thank the Global Outreach Program in Austin College for giving me the opportunity to cross something off my bucket list and truly change my outlook on life.